City of Washington Common Council meeting, July 25th, 2022. May we have a moment of silence for our veterans, please? Thank you. Okay, let's go, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May we have roll call, please?
Councilman Lunsford.
Here.
Councilman Brown.
Here.
Gress.
Here.
Councilman Hampton.
Here.
Councilman Emmons.
Here.
Councilman Dahl.
Here.
Councilman Showalter.
Here. Okay, let the record show they're all present. First thing, we have approval of minutes of the July 11th, 2022 public hearing and regular meeting, and the July 18th, 2022 special meeting in front of you tonight. Any questions or concerns about the minutes?
Make a motion to approve them as
Okay,
written.
Councilman Grass makes a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Councilman Emmons seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Okay, yes.
Okay, it's July 18th.
Yeah, they.
Hampton and Emmons. Lunsford.
Okay, next we have written presentation of the claims in front of you tonight. Anybody have any questions on the claims? If not, hearing any, they have a motion to send these to the Board of Works for approval. Councilman Brown makes a motion to send the Board of Works for approval.
Second.
Second by Councilman Showalter. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, comments by the members of the public other than what's on the agenda tonight. Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the resolutions. First resolution is a reading of Resolution 10-2022.
I'll make a motion to read that resolution.
Okay, Councilman Campton makes a motion to read this resolution.
Seconded.
Second by Councilman Showalter. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 10?
Cheat off yours.
Yes, yes.
For some reason I don't have 10 and 11.
Yes.
Resolution number 10-2022, transfer. That the Common Council contemplating the meeting of certain emergencies does hereby consider and determine to expend and to transfer certain funds from one major classification of the published budget of said City of Washington for 2022 to another major classification, fund being 101-800, General Fund IT Data Processing, from 340.000 computer repair parts, $3,950 to 410.000 professional services, the same amount. Total transfer of $3,950. This resolution shall be in force and effect from and after its passage, passed in council this 11th day of July 2022.
Okay. Any questions on this resolution?
Just a real brief summary.
This is just IT has bills in this one account, just moving things from 340 to 410 professional services. There was a bill that we're paying for out of that IT, right, Beth?
Yeah, it's for animal control.
Yeah.
They got a new computer and they needed to get their.
And that falls under IT, so.
Yes.
Yeah, and it falls under 400s, so we just have moved some money around to pay for that. Okay, any other questions? If not,
Motion we approve it.
motion to adopt by Councilman Gress makes a motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Councilman Dahl. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Next resolution is reading the resolution number 11-2022.
Make a motion to read that
All
resolution.
right, Councilman Campton makes a motion to read that resolution.
Second.
Second by Councilman Emmons. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Right, Tim.
Resolution number 11-2022, that the Common Council contemplating the meeting of certain emergencies does hereby consider and determine to expend and to transfer certain funds from one major classification of the published budget of said City of Washington for 2022 to another major classification, fund being 4402, Cumulative Capital Development, CCD, from 44001563.040 sidewalks paving, $20,000 to 460.000 repair and maintenance, the same $20,000. Total transfers $20,000. This resolution shall be in force and effect from and after its passage, passed in council this 11th day of July 2022.
Okay,
Not the right date, but
okay. Any questions on this resolution?
Again, just
Again,
brief summary.
this is the CCD category, transferring some money from the 600s to the 460s that paid for fencing out there at the salt barn. We had money put away for this year in his budget, but not enough to do the fencing and get it all secured, and we're gonna go ahead and do the rest of the fencing, right?
This was for the paving out there at the utility building, and the general funds paving.
For that one, okay, but did we find the money? Okay, I'm sorry.
What I thought it was for.
Not sorry, yeah, it's my CCD, the Grass Pavilion up above.
Okay.
We paved that. We had utility pay for some. I took some out CCD to pay for the rest. And instead of taking it away from the park.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve that one.
Okay, Councilman Gress makes a motion to approve this resolution.
Second.
Second by Councilman Lunsford. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Too many projects. Next one, reading of Resolution 12-2022. Kind of a motion to read this
I'll
resolution?
make that motion.
Councilman Kempton makes a motion to read this resolution. Second. Councilman Brown seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Tim?
resolution number 12-2022, a preliminary resolution of the Common Council of the City of Washington, Indiana, approving real property tax abatement, Kirstein's Development, Inc. Whereas Kirstein's Development, Inc. and/or any affiliate thereof is pursuing the construction of an apartment project in the City of Washington to be located on the property described in the map attached hereto as Exhibit A, and incorporated herein by reference and at the address set forth in Exhibit A. And whereas the company has requested that the real property be designated an economic revitalization area for purposes of permitting real property tax deductions pursuant to Indiana Code 6-1.1-12.1 as amended. And whereas the company has further requested that the Common Council of the City of Washington, Indiana approve a 5-year real property tax deduction schedule for the project. And whereas the company has advised the council that the project will involve significant investment in real property development or rehabilitation. And whereas the company submitted to the council a Form SB1 real property statement of benefits in connection with the project and provided all information and documentation necessary for the council to make an informed decision. And whereas the council is authorized under the provisions of IC 6-1.1-12.1-1 et sec. to designate areas in the town as an ERA for the purposes described herein. And whereas the council has considered the statement submitted by the company and has conducted a complete and proper investigation of the real property and determined that the area qualifies as an ERA under Indiana statutes. And whereas the council has considered the following factors under IC 6-1.1-12.1-17 in connection with the project. 1, the total amount of the company's investment in real and personal property under the project. 2, the number of new full-time equivalent jobs, if any, to be created under the project. 3, the average wage of the new employees, if any, under the project compared to the state minimum wage. And 4, the infrastructure requirements for the company's investment under the project, collectively, the deduction schedule factors. Now therefore it is found, determined, and resolved by the council as follows. 1, that the estimate of the value of the redevelopment or rehabilitation of the real property is reasonable for projects of that nature. 2, that the value of the construction of improvements as a result of the project creates benefits of the type and quality anticipated by the council within the ERA and can reasonably be expected to result from the proposed project and the redevelopment or rehabilitation of the real property. 3, that the benefits described in the statement can reasonably be expected to result from the proposed redevelopment or rehabilitation of the real property. 4, that the totality of benefits from the proposed redevelopment or rehabilitation of the real property is sufficient to justify a real property tax deduction period and schedule as set out herein. 5, that the deduction schedule factors in connection with the project justify granting the deduction schedule for real property under IC 6-1.1-12.1-17 as specified herein. Now therefore, based on the foregoing, the council further resolves, finds, and determines, one, that all of the conditions for the designation of the ERA and all of the requirements for the tax deductions to be granted hereby have been met, and the foregoing findings are true, and all information required to be submitted has been submitted in proper form. Two, that the statement submitted by the company is hereby approved. Three, that the real property is hereby designated as an ERA pursuant to Indiana Code 6-1.1-12.1-1 et sec. And the company is entitled to real property tax deductions for the proposed redevelopment or rehabilitation of real property as part of the project for a period of 5 years as allowed in Indiana Code 6-1.1-12.1-4 in accordance with the following abatement schedule hereby adopted pursuant to Indiana Code 6-1.1-12.1-17. 5 years of deduction, each with a 100% abatement. 4, the notice hereof should be published according to law, stating the following: the adoption and substance hereof, a copy of the description of the affected area is available for inspection in the county assessor's office, and the date on which the council will hear and receive remonstrances and objections and take final action, all is required by law. 5, that this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage by the Washington Common Council and such publications as may be required by law. 6, that the council shall cause certified copies of this resolution to be filed with the Daviess County Auditor and the Daviess County Assessor, passed and adopted by the Common Council of the City of Washington, Indiana, this blank day of blank, 2022.
Okay. Questions?
What is the purpose of the part paid?
An economic revitalization area.
Yes, what does that mean? What?
Well, it allows that area to be eligible for.
That's the
tax
reason
abatements.
for it then, okay.
And basically, there has to be a finding that it's an area that otherwise might not be developed or rehabilitated.
Okay.
So a lot of times on these, don't we normally see where it regresses from like
That
100,
would be
80,
a
60,
10-year.
40, 20?
Not in the housing ones we did. We did one for Rhinebeck Homes, it's 5-year abatement, and this one is a carbon copy of that project.
Okay.
But typically what you're talking
Yeah,
about is normally.
yeah, normally
Yeah,
do on
normally
business- businesses.
Right,
and
and
stuff.
then
Yeah.
businesses. And then the previous to,
But we started this kind of trend with the last
Right.
housing edition, trying to get housing.
I knew, right.
Yeah, so it's,
Typically for industrial or commercial, it's a 10-year tax abatement. For housing, we met and discussed that 5-year was probably more appropriate. But yeah, in discussions with developers and property owners, that 100% made the most sense, right? But it terminates earlier than a traditional tax abatement would, so, yeah, good question.
if you have any questions, Brian Niehoff with Economic Development's here, and Ruger is here with Kirstein's development.
And the total abatement is about the same between the graduated 10-year or the 100% 5-year.
Correct, yeah, correct. The city, that's exactly right. Generally, when we're talking with folks about an abatement, if you do the graduated schedule, that 100%, 90%, 95, 90, 80, so on and so forth, it generally equates to about half of the taxes that they would have paid had that not been given. So yes, David's exactly right. Just in this situation, in year 6, the city's getting that full property tax payment, as opposed to year 6 in another situation, in the traditional situation, they'd be paying, still have part of their abatement then, so.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, the other question I have, we have an ordinance coming up. Is this the same property? Because what they have outlined looks like the same.
Yeah, what's the following ordinance?
Well, it's,
Target area.
Target area.
Oh, okay, yes.
Economic development target area, yes.
Yeah, so it's a procedural thing. There, several years ago, state statute created a separate provision for when you are considering tax abatements for market rate multifamily apartments and retail, right? So you can do tax abatements for those types of land uses, but they have to be, you have to designate that area as a target area. Just as Tim explained earlier, you have to designate an area as an economic revitalization area for a tax abatement in order to provide a tax abatement to residential or to commercial retail. You have to designate that area as a target area as well. So procedural step.
This is just on the apartments, not for.
Yes,
houses that
not
would
for
be
any
built.
single
Correct.
family homes, yes, just apartments, yes.
Yep. So as you know, I mean, we've had a need for housing for quite some time, right? It's certainly a challenge if any of you have looked for housing in the past few years. This isn't just exclusive to Davies County or Washington. It's a crisis that's being felt nationwide. So we are being forced to look creatively at ways that we can incentivize housing, that we can form public-private partnerships. Reinbrecht Homes with Simplified Developments and Cypress Point Apartments was the first project that we came together and formed a public-private partnership. This project is quickly following, and we're looking forward to partnering with Ruger and his team. They're looking at 70 new market rate apartments, about 12, 13 single-family homes, and about 8 condominiums on this site. So you have a good mix of housing, all at a relatively affordable price point, right? So yeah, we have Ruger here, Ruger Kirsteins. If you guys have any questions about the project, it's about an $11 million investment between the infrastructure, the homes, and the apartments and condominiums. So, any questions for Ruger? Thoughts?
Any questions on this resolution?
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
Okay, Councilman Campbell makes a motion to approve this resolution, second by Councilman Shaw. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Approved.
Thank you.
Thanks for your investment.
Yes.
Zach?
Okay, then we move on to ordinances. A final reading of ordinance number 16-2020.
I'll make a motion to read that by title only.
I have a question.
Yes.
This is annexing the Buffalo Trace property,
Yes.
is that correct?
Yes.
Does that include the condominium, or the townhouse property, or is that still just the,
It's the 5.553 acres.
can we do that without being 1/8 of the perimeter
We
contiguous?
talked about that in previous meetings. And that was a concern. I thought there was gonna be another ordinance following up on this, behind this, for the villas.
Pardon?
That's my understanding as well.
I
Have one?
16.
I don't know if, Stephen Unger that wrote this up has got that done yet, or got contacted on that ordinance.
I mean, I would think we'd be remiss to do it out of order, leaving a possibility for somebody to object to paying property taxes because it
That
wasn't
other
annexed
piece of
property.
property is 3.97 acres for the villas. Does have a different owner too.
And they've now followed voluntary petition, have they?
Yeah, they filed,
The owner-
yes, they filed a petition, yes. Yeah. Yeah,
So should we table this until we get the other half of the ordinance?
I think so.
I think
Yeah.
we missed communication, I
I was
think.
under the impression we were gonna, I thought,
Mr. Unger didn't, I don't think got notified, but, we'll.
So I'll make a
sure.
motion, we table it until,
And we'll
It's
know,
complete.
we'll let, Bose McKinney know, and,
I'll second the motion.
okay, Councilman Gress makes a motion to table this for the other ordinance to get developed, and Councilman, Campton seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we'll make sure that gets done to Mr. Unger and, get that ordinance developed, it should have been. All right, moving on to introduction of ordinance 20-2022. I have a motion to read this ordinance.
So moved.
Councilman Bell makes a motion to read this ordinance.
Second.
Second by Councilman Lunsford. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Tim?
Ordinance number 20-2022, an ordinance revising ordinance 29-2021 and section 75.04J of the Washington Code of Ordinances. Whereas the Common Council of the City of Washington has established regulations concerning the operation of golf carts and off-road vehicles within the city of Washington. And whereas section 75.04J of ordinance number 29-2021 establishes designated hours of the day during which such vehicles may be operated in the city. And whereas the council has determined that the designated hours should be amended, now therefore be it ordained that section 75.04J of the Washington Code of Ordinances shall be revised to read as follows. Paragraph J, operate a golf cart or an off-road vehicle on the streets, roads, alleys, rights-of-way, or public parking lots in the city of Washington, except during the hours between 7 a.m. and 11 p.m. for golf carts, and 2, sunrise and sunset for off-road vehicles. All other provisions of Chapter 75 shall remain in full force and effect. This ordinance shall take effect immediately upon passage, passed by the Washington Common Council on the blank day of August 2022.
Okay, I don't know the procedure for this, but after, reading the emails that was not a law, I would like to see if there's enough vote to just get rid of that paragraph altogether.
Strike J.
Yes. So I don't know what the procedure would be to
And not have no time frame?
No
Yeah, get rid of
time
J
frame whatsoever.
completely off.
On either,
Yeah.
on either.
But you can't on the side-by-side.
No, it's not a law.
Again, it's not a
It
misinformation.
says it can be adopted from each community.
Yeah.
So as long as it has a tail light and a headlight,
Right.
the law says they can be on the road. We were just misinformed on that part.
Could we do the reading as is and strike J off of this?
Well, we'd have to vote to
Well, you
see
can amend it, right, you have to vote.
With
to amend
amendment.
But yes,
But, so,
if we'd even have the votes. But I would make a motion to get rid of J,
Get rid of time limit.
get rid of the time
Strike
limit.
in other
J
words, shall
completely.
be, in other words, shall be revised to eliminate paragraph J.
Correct.
I would go with that.
Second. Which is the curfew.
Get rid of the curfew period on both side by
We got
side.
them legal with the codes and everything, and plates and all that on them, insurance, and no different than a car, really.
So that puts us back at the original ordinance when they made the go.
Correct.
Yes,
Correct.
except for side by side would be allowed.
Well, it's not made, we still have to vote on it,
Yes.
but that was a motion up to see if we have the votes to even do that. So,
How do we do that procedurally?
okay.
Did you second it?
I think
Yeah.
you just made a motion.
Yeah. Kent makes a motion to,
I'll pass it.
Well, I'll second
We
it.
did. We asked
Okay,
them the
Councilman
last time.
Shaw
They said they had no
seconds
problem
it.
with
So you're voting on the amendment
yeah.
The last
To get rid of
meeting, he said
J,
they had no problem.
striking J
to eliminate J.
Well, gee.
for all.
Okay, all right, for this, yes. Any other questions on this regarding this ordinance? Any
Do you have
questions?
anything to know?
I still personally
No,
think
the
it's
same
too
thing
long.
what she said.
I think it ought to be, I don't think they need to be out there running around at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning.
There is a difference.
No difference.
Okay. All right, let's vote.
Okay, so we've got on that we're going to strike J.
This is what we'll vote on,
Okay, all right.
and then we'll,
You're
Then you
voting
still have
to
to write-
amend this ordinance.
yes,
Correct.
yes, amend this ordinance,
And
yes.
then there'll be a second vote.
Yes,
on-
there'll be a second vote to approve it.
Oh, well, actually.
Well, not
If-
tonight.
Not tonight,
No.
it'll be next week.
But
It's
if it
just
goes-
amended,
if
for
it
him to
goes
amend
through,
it.
yes.
Yep.
Okay,
Neil,
Councilman Lunsford,
Aye.
Councilman Emmons,
Aye.
Councilman Campton,
Aye.
Councilman Brown,
Aye.
Councilman Showalter,
Aye.
Councilman Dahl,
All right.
Councilman Grass.
Oh,
Okay, all right. The yeas get it. This ordinance will be amended and be back at the next council meeting for final approval.
Sorry, Ken.
No, that's fine.
You know, it's-
Yeah, thank you for the information.
Thanks, Rigger.
I was misinformed myself at the beginning. By the way, there's the actual code.
No, they got it
Did you get that?
in the email, yes.
Okay.
Somebody sent it.
One headlight, one taillight.
Yes.
can I say something real quick? Kudos to the city workers last night for what they put up with. They did a good job
Yes.
carrying back.
Yeah, I was gonna address that after a
Randy
while, but
knows
thank
what
you.
that's like.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett.
not to have to worry about it.
Send that out. We the people appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on, introduction of ordinance 21-2022.
I'll make a motion to read that.
Okay, Councilman Campton makes a motion to read this ordinance.
Second.
Second, Councilman Dahl. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Tim?
Ordinance number 21-2022, an ordinance of the City of Washington, Indiana designating an area within the city as an economic development target area. Excuse me. Whereas the City of Washington Economic Development Commission has recommended that the Common Council designate the area depicted in Exhibit A hereto as an economic development target area pursuant to 6-1.1-12.1-7 as amended. And whereas the Common Council has reviewed such recommendation and determined that such a designation will further the economic development and redevelopment purposes of the City of Washington. Now therefore be it ordained by the Common Council of the City of Washington, Indiana, that Section 1, findings, the Common Council hereby finds that the area has become undesirable or impossible for normal development and occupancy because of a lack of development, cessation of growth, deterioration of improvements or character of occupancy, age, obsolescence, substandard buildings, or other factors that have impaired values or prevent a normal development of property or use of the property in the area. The Common Council further finds that the designation of the area as an economic development target area will not cause the city to exceed the 15% limit on the geographic territory in the city that may be so designated. Section 2, designation. The Common Council hereby designates the area as an economic development target area for purpose of Indiana Code 6-1.1-12.1-7 as amended. In Section 3, effective date, this ordinance shall be in full force and effect immediately upon adoption, passed and adopted by the Common Council of the City of Washington this blank day of blank of 2022.
Okay. Any questions, comments regarding this ordinance?
If I may add,
Yes.
I think, I don't know, I was thinking this earlier, but I wanted to check my timeline. I think this is actually supposed to be on the August 8th meeting, because the Economic Development Commission doesn't meet until 4:30 on the 8th.
Right, but this is
This
gonna
would be the
passed
second
tonight
reading.
anyway.
Okay, this
Yeah.
is first
See what I
reading.
mean?
Okay, sorry. Just,
That's
I
all right.
was listening to
Introduction.
that thinking,
Yeah,
no, they
yeah.
haven't done that yet.
Yeah,
So, okay,
introduction,
okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, any other?
And is this considered undesirable because it's been set for years? Is that the reason, or,
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Yeah, I don't know how long that property has
I mean, because it's been in
sat
And it
vacant.
was zoned industrial.
in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It's been there since zoning was established and hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. I know it's been that
Too
long
many
since I've
nibbles.
been,
Yeah.
5 years, so.
And is there a difference between target and TIF, or what is the?
Yeah, there is. And this is, I don't know why they didn't get a little more creative with some of these names, the state legislature, but an economic development area is one that can qualify for TIF, right? And then an economic revitalization area are those that qualify for tax abatement.
Yeah.
A target area is, as I mentioned earlier, a tax abatement for multifamily residential or for commercial, right?
Sounds really similar, but it leads to different outcomes.
Exactly.
And it is in a TIF area.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's not.
It's in our TIF area.
Yeah.
This one actually is,
Yeah.
but we're not creating a new.
No, no,
Okay.
not at all.
Yeah.
Thank you,
So
Brett.
economic development areas, anywhere there's a TIF in the city of Washington, that is an economic development area. But typically when you don't blanket an entire area as an economic revitalization area. Usually that's just on a case-by-case basis for developments, so.
Okay.
And certainly a target area as well.
Any other questions on this ordinance? Hearing none, this ordinance will be up for adoption at the next council meeting. Okay, next we got an introduction of ordinance number 22-2022.
I'll make a motion to read that ordinance.
Okay, Councilman Campton makes a motion to read this ordinance.
Second.
Second by Councilman Brown, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Tim?
Ordinance number 22-2022. An ordinance establishing a local forfeiture and seized assets fund, all pursuant to Indiana Code 36-1-3 and Indiana Code 34-4 et sec. Whereas Indiana Code 32-1-3-2 confers upon all local units the powers that they need for the effective operation of government as to local affairs. Whereas Indiana Code 36-1-3-6B1 prescribes that any such exercise of power shall be authorized through enactment of an ordinance passed by the legislative body. And whereas the City of Washington, through its police department, participates from time to time in multi-agency, multi-jurisdictional law enforcement activities in addition to its own agency-based law enforcement activities. Whereas in the course of this participation or local activity, certain assets believed to be employed in or derived from unlawful enterprises or criminal activity are recovered or confiscated and seized pursuant to laws of the United States and or the state of Indiana. Whereas United States Justice Department and other federal guidelines provide that the forfeiture of certain assets believed to be employed in or derived from unlawful enterprise or criminal activity, which are recovered or confiscated and seized pursuant to laws of the United States, must be accounted for in a dedicated fund established separate and apart from any other forfeiture assets derived pursuant to the laws of the state of Indiana. And whereas Indiana Code 34-4-30.1 et sec, Indiana Code 34-4-30.5 et sec, as well as IC 36-8-6, provide guidance regarding the disposition of certain forfeited assets believed to be employed in or derived from unlawful enterprise or criminal activity, which are recovered or confiscated and seized pursuant to laws of the state of Indiana. Whereas the City of Washington, through its Common Council, now desires to properly constitute the appropriate fund or funds in support of advancing the proper public accounting and stewardship of these assets. Now therefore be it hereby ordained by the City Council of the City of Washington, Indiana as follows. Section 1, that the Special Revenue Fund is hereby established as a dedicated fund to be known as the Forfeiture and Seized Assets Fund. Section 2, that the fund is dedicated and established to provide funds for law enforcement programs of the municipality that are undertaken in support of and pursuant to the laws of the United States and the guidelines of the United States Justice Department and the state of Indiana regarding the disposition of seized assets and forfeiture associated with multi-agency, federal, state, and local cooperative criminal investigations. Section 3, that expenditures from this fund shall be for the purposes and in support of the purposes set forth in Section 2 of this ordinance, according to the laws of the United States and the state of Indiana, and according to guidelines set forth by the United States Attorney General and the United States Department of Justice. A, that the establishment nor the purposes of this fund shall not be in derogation of the lawful purposes or construed to exclude the lawful purpose or expenditure from such other funds for the same or similar purposes. Section 4, that the sources of money for the fund are the following. A, gifts and donations from any person to the fund. B, money derived from seized and forfeited assets or the proceeds from the sale of seized and forfeited assets not otherwise covered by laws of the United States or its executive departments, nor covered by IC 34-4-30.1 et sec or IC 34-4-30.5 et sec. C, that pursuant to Indiana Code Title 5, Article 13, Chapter 9, monies in the fund may be invested provided that the yields from the purchase and sale of any such investments be deposited with the fund. D, money derived from Indiana court orders, entered agreements, and/or judgments associated with a criminal investigation from which a seizure and forfeiture is occasioned pursuant to Indiana Code 34-4-30.1 et sec or Indiana Code 34-4-30.5 et sec. Section 5, that expenditures from the fund may be made from the proper category of expense only after an appropriation has been made in the manner provided by statute for making other appropriations. It shall be dispersed only on approved claims allowed by the Board of Public Works and Safety pursuant to Indiana Code 5-11-10 and Indiana Code 36-5-4. Section 6, that all unused and unencumbered monies do not revert to any fund but the fund created by this ordinance. Section 7, that the clerk treasurer as municipal fiscal officer is hereby directed and authorized to perform such duties and keep such accounts as to fulfill the purposes of the funds herein named and to carry out the provision of this enactment. This ordinance shall take effect immediately after passage, passed by the Common Council of the City of Washington, Indiana, this blank day of August 2022.
Okay,
Was this a state mandated?
No.
No.
This has been, probably for at least 2 or 3 years, Trent McWilliams was wanting me to draft this. I worked with the prosecutor's office. What he was able to provide me 2 or 3 years ago was a template that was from counties, but not municipalities. So finally, I don't know, about just couple months ago, our chief now came to me and asked me if I could draft one of these. And I said, well, if you can find me a city template to work from, I will. And a week or so later, Dan Murray called me, the prosecutor, and said he had one from Valparaiso. So this is copying theirs, basically. But yeah, whenever there's a multi-agency drug bust and they confiscate houses and cars and, boats and what have you, then, those can be sold and the money be put back into law enforcement activities.
Well, I figured that was going on anyway, that's why I wondered why.
Well, it was going to the county though. The city wasn't getting anything.
Okay, well, that answers, there you go.
And that's kind of what got Trent going on this,
Yeah.
Wanting that money for,
Yeah, so we can keep it local.
and they had no problem doing it, but the prosecutor didn't,
Right.
but we had to create a fund.
So that's what this does.
Yeah, the seizures that we had been getting were at a federal level because they're distributed different. When it comes to like state assets, like cash seizures or anything at the state level, the account was a requirement for us to have it, and we actually have money that's been pending, but without the account, so the prosecutor's office and them at the state level are still doing it. A portion goes to, I think, the Indiana Department of Education, a portion goes to the prosecutor's office, and then there's just been money that's been sitting that we can't get without having the funds
Because
to
we
put it
didn't have a
in.
fund created, yeah.
Right, so federally, there's a different fund, so that's how we've been getting federal assets through different things like that, but normally it's, at this point, just been cash seizures, we've never,
Yeah.
but it does allow for the assets and other things at that point.
Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, this ordinance will be up for adoption at the next council meeting. And our last ordinance we have tonight is ordinance number 23-2022.
I'll make a motion to read that ordinance.
All right, Councilman Campton makes a motion to read this ordinance. We have a second? Second by Councilman Brown, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Tim.
Ordinance number 23-2022, an ordinance addressing vacation and sick days for new hires in the fire and police departments who transfer in from other departments. Whereas the Board of Public Works and Safety of the City of Washington has agreed that the Washington Fire Department and the Washington Police Department should be able to accept applications from members of those departments from other communities. And whereas the Common Council of the City of Washington recognizes the advantages of hiring individuals who have previously obtained proper training, now therefore be it ordained that the Washington Fire Department and the Washington Police Department, when hiring an individual who is making a lateral transfer from a similar department in another community, may award that new hire with the same amount of vacation days, personal days, and sick days to which that individual would have been entitled had he or she been employed by the City of Washington for the same amount of time. This ordinance shall take effect upon passage, passed by the Washington Common Council on the blank day of August 2022.
So it's just tenure, basically.
Huh?
Tenure.
Yeah, the
For
person
vacation.
they don't go into rank structure as far as, time.
They don't
but-
get seniority.
Yeah, they don't get
Right.
seniority that way. They start at the bottom like everybody else, but vacation and sick time and personal time is, what we thought it'd be good to, grant.
Right.
And it says may, so you don't have to, but on lateral transfers, they kind of are required.
Further enticement.
Yes, exactly. Any other questions?
Plus, we don't have to pay to train them.
Yes, that's where there's a big dollar amount that you don't have to send them, to training,
Police academy.
whether it's fire or police. If it's police, they don't have to go to the academy. I mean, they might have to go to the academy for a brief,
Yeah, it would depend on where they're coming from.
Yeah,
So there
yeah.
is abbreviated if you're coming from out of state.
Yeah, but
If you're.
Herc will
already in,
accept them,
you
that's the main
transfer
thing.
them.
Can I ask a question? The lateral transfer, suppose they come from Lagodi and they have more sick days, more vacation time accrued. do we,
We grant them on our time.
we grant it back to our
Our
time?
time.
That they would have been
Yeah,
entitled to had they
if
been
they
in
had
our
15
department.
years and ours says
2 weeks?
2 weeks, 12 days, but
Yeah.
Lagodi might have said 15 days, well,
Yes.
no, they go to our 12
Okay,
days.
I didn't want anybody getting,
Yeah,
More than what our guys.
yeah,
are.
what our
no,
guys are
no,
getting, yeah.
they get equivalent to
Or
what
we
we
go up
got.
to that standard?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, because those guidelines are already laid out,
Okay.
time-wise. Any other questions on this? Hearing none, this will be up for adoption next council meeting. Okay, other business. Tax abatements. Renewal of tax abatements for the year of 2023. Okay, let's see, I think hopefully you guys got the same order as I got. We'll just go by Eagle Rail Car is the first one I have.
Yes.
Okay, yes, sir. You Go ahead and state your name, representing Eagle.
Dalton Deming, plant manager.
Okay. Yes, there's two of them, yes. These are a 10-year abatement.
Where on this does it show what they had left? Am I just not seeing it?
Hey, I looked on there, but I have my sheet, this one here is,
So it doesn't
expires in-
say on here anyway.
I couldn't find it myself. It expires in 2029. Both of these are 10-year, and 2029 is I have on my sheet that I gave back when I came in office. There again, it's,
On this top one, it says it started in 16, so that wouldn't add up to,
Start date of the project and then actual completion of the project
is 18.
Okay, so we just.
We
go from that. I
granted,
get
we
it.
get granted a 12/31
I
at
see now.
18 for the year of
So it
19.
would have been taxable until 19.
Yeah.
The resolution was on, in 2017.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, that's, do you have any questions for the representative from Eagle? You see, is your current employees, that's about where you're at, 80?
No, we're north of 120 now. Plan to be 160 by the end of the year. Running 3 shifts, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
That's great.
Right.
Okay. Anybody got any questions for him? Okay. So your wishes are to grant this?
I'll make a motion to grant.
Okay.
Second.
Councilman Campbell makes a motion to approve this tax abatement for the year of 2023. Councilman Lunsford seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next, Lawrence Barrier Films. We have, yes, sir. Okay. We have two, there again, we have two abatements for them.
Are you doing Great Eastern also? Yeah. So we got four, right?
Yeah, we got 4 altogether. When you get to Great Eastern, yes.
Can you state your name again, please? I'm sorry.
Mike Scout.
But these first 2 are 5-year abatements, and then the other 2 are 10-year abatements. Your employees, what is your number, right? It's
4951 what we're at.
Of course, this was it started with different lines when they first came in. It was on abatement on the first line, and that one has gone away. These are abatements on the 3rd and 4th lines. These, one expires in 23, and the second one on the 5-year expires in 25.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Councilman Gress makes a motion to approve these 2 abatements, and Councilman Campbell seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And then again, like we said, we have two of them for Great Eastern Acquisition Corporation. These are 10-year abatements. And that first one was on the real estate, the building for Alliance Barrier, and then the second one came along when they built that warehouse.
So these have two different end dates, though?
Yes,
So one's 25.
one's 27 and the other one's 24.
24?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, Councilman Campbell makes a motion to approve these two abatements. Councilman Emmons seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Thanks, Mike. Thank you. Next, we have Nasco Industries. Jordan Sherman's here representing Nasco. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, okay. I didn't realize you signed right now. Okay. Any questions for Jordan on this? Jordan, currently, what you got, are you in the 80s?
Yeah, we're 82 as of last week. We're still actively trying to hire. I think in just this year we've hired 34, but we've lost 24. So just like everybody else, you know, finding and keeping employees is a challenge.
Yeah, this was just well, it went in effect 2019. They built the additional warehouse, and then they redid the boiler house and the office spaces there in the boiler house.
Which is what this was, right?
Huh, yes, yes.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Councilman Campbell makes a motion to approve this abatement. Councilman Showalter seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Jordan. Okay, next, Indiana Safety. Yes, we have. We have any questions for them on theirs? There again, this abatement is a 10-year abatement. Went in effect 2019, probably started 2020. It was completion date was 7/31/19. There again, they built their office space, the warehouse. When this abatement was granted.
Again, I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay,
I'll
Councilman
second it.
Campbell makes a motion to approve the abatement. Councilman Showalter seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
How many current employees do you guys have now?
Saying we started with 30 this year, hired 7, we've lost 3, so 34.
Yeah, that's what you had
So
on.
we could use another 10 if we can find them.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, we do appreciate what you guys did out there as far as the building and stuff, and your business you do for the city.
Appreciate it.
Okay, that's been granted, thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, next we have TrueRx, TrueRx, yes.
Jesse McDonald.
Yes. 10-year abatement. Started, completion was 9/30/21. Actually, yeah. Early in.
What are you guys sitting currently, employee-wise?
We're at about 108,
So above, right above. Awesome.
15 unfilled right now, so.
Right, awesome. Make a motion to approve it.
I'll second that.
Okay, Councilman Lunsford makes a motion to approve the abatement. Councilman Campbell seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all for your time.
And our last one is Indiana Municipal Power Agency. Have anybody representing IMPA tonight? I don't think they came down from Carmel last time.
They'll be here next week on the ordinance anyway.
Yeah.
This is for the,
Yeah, solar park out there, 10-year abatement, will expire in 2026.
I'll just make a motion to approve.
Okay, Councilman Campbell
I'll
makes a
second
motion to approve the abatement. Councilman Shore seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. That's all the statements I have in front of us tonight. Anybody in the audience got anything else for the council tonight? Okay, hearing none. Councilman Gress, you have anything for us?
Other than we got a lot of water last night.
Yes.
And they did a superb job. Everybody did. I looked out the window at 1 o'clock and they was out there in the front yard.
Yeah, we've had a lot of challenges on this water. I mean, I know a lot of people got it in the basements and stuff, and we, it was, 7, 8 inches depending on who you talk to. It was a 100-year flood. I mean,
They did a super job.
Yeah, they did, and we're still probably doing some work as we speak on some of the electrical and stuff, but I think we're in pretty good shape tonight. They've worked all day, but yeah.
Rain on the way.
Yeah, tomorrow morning, maybe 5 a.m. maybe.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, I tell them, the workers, they do a great job. Councilman Dahl?
I have nothing else to add.
Okay, Councilman Showa?
Nothing else to add?
Councilman Brown?
Well, this one for IMP is not filed. These are all filed through
The auditor.
auditor. This one is not, so I don't know, is that an issue?
I don't.
I think it just probably got missed being stamped because, the auditor's office is actually who sent it.
I mean, they have a different form than what everybody else has, so it's, because of utility, so I don't know.
Yeah, it did say that on
Utility
top.
office, would they have a different form, Tim?
Probably.
I mean, it has a different heading.
Yeah, that has a different, it does have a different heading, but.
But it wasn't stamped by the auditor's office.
No, so I just go ahead and sign it, or then we'll figure it out, or what?
Probably yes.
Okay.
Just say that they didn't stamp it, 'cause, well, I have to send it back to them with your signature before it.
No worries, Alan.
I'm just wanting to make
No worries.
No pressure.
I can tell you, we're not working.
That's my signature, I can't even read it on here on purpose, no.
They're gonna hold you personally accountable, Alan.
I think IMPA, we do have a connection with them, and only been with them for 30 years.
So
But
I just put, I signed a curve that.
I said, don't worry.
Well done, well done.
I don't have anything else.
okay, thank you. Tim, you got anything for us?
I do not.
Doug?
I've done
No,
enough damage
no,
to
sir.
these ordinances.
Randy?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Nope.
Beth?
No.
And I do want to say, I tell the employees, they did a great job. I mean, it's worked hard always, and they try to get things back up and going as fast as possible. And I did have one business owner come to me this evening late and said they had some damage, got water in their business. The only one I've had come forward to me so far. And I told him I'd look into some things for him. I didn't know, of course, he said his insurance wouldn't pay for flood damage, and so I'm gonna reach out to a couple people and ask if see if I can, if they're just my first flood we've had like this, so I'm gonna reach out and see if there's anything out there. So, okay, all right, anything else for the good of the order? Hearing none, this means adjourned. Thank you. Board of Public Works in 5 minutes. Order, Board of Public Works and Safety, July 25th, 2022. First, we have the approval of minutes of the July 11th, 2022 regular meeting.
I move we approve those as
Okay,
written.
Councilman Dahl makes a motion to approve these minutes as written.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Ash seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Discussion approval of claims submitted tonight to you.
I'll move we approve the claims.
Okay,
I'll second.
Councilwoman Ash makes the motion to approve claims, Councilman Dahl seconds, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And we got a discussion approval of salary position changes in the wastewater and electric departments.
All right, I request the following salary change, and this is from Roger Patterson. In the wastewater department, Samuel Halbert, first shift plant operator at $20.30 per hour to head operator at $21.76 per hour, the effective date of August 6th of 2022. And I seem to have lost the other one.
Here you go.
I'm a mess up here.
It's all right.
All right, so the other ones are request following salary change from Randall Ennis from Electric Department, Ryan Balmer, second class lineman at $22.35 per hour to third class lineman at $23.81 per hour, also effective on August 6, 2022.
And the first one, Sam, he's currently first shift operator, and he's gonna move to head operator. We asked the other ones, and but he's very aggressive, very young, willing to keep moving forward, and so we had an opening on the head operator because of dirt getting moved around, and so.
I'll move we approve both of them.
I'll
Okay.
second that.
Councilman Ash makes a motion to approve both these salary changes, and Councilman Dahl seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
So who's the new first shift?
We're gonna have to hire a first shift operator, but we had to get this done to make a spot for him, and now we're taking applications till the 29th of this month, in the week, and we've had several applications come in, and we'll look at them, and probably sometime next month hire. We asked our swing shift operator if he would like to move to days, and he came from GPC as a swing shift operator, and he said no, he'd like to just stay in swing shift. So,
Good.
so.
Yeah.
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 And that's what he did out there, so I guess he's, used to it.
that, yeah.
It's not quite as bad as GPC swing shift. I mean, it's not that many days. They used to do weeks at a time, where this is just like a couple of days and then move, and a couple of days and move. I mean, so it's not quite as bad, and that's one reason he kind of came to us, but, yeah.
Good.
Anybody in the audience got anything for the Board of Works tonight? All right. Nita, you got anything for us?
I do not.
David?
I do not.
Tim?
No.
Beth? All right. All right, this meeting's adjourned. Thank you.